Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann. I'm also known as the Habit Fixer, and I love helping women over 50 to regain their mojo and age well. And I do that through a very simple tapping technique called EFT. I use skincare, nutrition, and digital products. And today, my guest is Lindsey Burden, and she is utterly, utterly fabulous. And she's actually talking about habits to make business easier, I think, aren't you, Lindsey?
Yes,
Yeah.
3 habits for easy success. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world listening.
Thank you. Well, I'm just going to hand straight over to you because, quite frankly, who doesn't want easy success?
I am over 50, so I feel like I'm in the right place. And I was giving some thought to this about these habits. And you and I sort of had a little chat a minute ago. And habits are these things that they can be really hard to give up, can't they? They can be negative and they can be things that don't serve us. And they can be, I think habits can be the difference between surviving and thriving, which is a phrase that always makes me want to go from there to there, which feels great. And I was thinking about habits, okay? They're really, really sneaky habits. And they're sneaky. So it's like you're trying to manage your weight. I don't really like talking about weight, but which is why I use the phrase manage. And, and I'm using this one because I know I've done it. And yet you don't notice the food that you're taking off the children's plates. You don't notice the little things that you do. And that's what the habits that don't serve us are. They're these little things that sneak up upon us and then we don't realize we're doing it and unconsciously we're doing it. And then we think, how did I get here? Because of these terrible little habits. Yeah, it's the habits that we do, the good ones, the positive ones, when we focus on them, that really move us forward. And I was thinking, it's a bit like how you start your morning. I start with meditation and I do journaling and I use EFT, emotional freedom technique, that you were talking about earlier. And they're all the things that I use. They're my really good habits that set me up for a really incredible, great and successful day. So in business, they're really, really key for us. But I think when I talk about them being sneaky, what happens is we don't realize the habits that we've fallen into that are not serving us. And that can happen because we get really busy, because our business is growing, we're evolving. And that's something I love, the idea that we're always evolving. So it's okay. Don't get panicked about habits, and certainly don't get panicked about any of these habits that I might mention that you may have fallen into the trap of. Because the habit that I notice the most, and the one I'd like you to change for that easy success, let me make sure I get it right, and I've got it on my notes. I want you to stop doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. And that is one of those habits that we all fall into. And I talked about, we're evolving. And in our businesses, we definitely find ourselves doing the same thing over and over again because it's comfortable, it's easy, it's what we know, it feels great. But actually, if you want to achieve success, and if you want to achieve success more easily, you need to notice what you are doing. You need to notice where you are doing the same thing and not getting the results that you want. So I want people to really watch out for that habit where they recognize they're doing the same thing over and over again. And I want you to do that EFT, pattern interrupt. You don't have to do the EFT bit. You just need to decide that you need to do things differently. So why don't we then go, hey, I can see I'm doing the same things over and over again. I need to do something different. What am I going to do? It's really hard because you can be stuck in that place of fear. So I wanted to give you some ways of changing that. And the first thing you can do so that you start to do things differently, so you start to explore what you could do differently, is get really, really clear on where you want to be. Okay, because unless you know where you are heading, it's going to be really hard for you to make any changes in the business. So by getting really clear on where you want to be, you'll start to notice where you're doing the same things and hoping for a different result. You'll start to notice what can be changed and what can be improved in the business. So it's getting clear on where you want to be and seeing, recognizing, acknowledging what needs to change or you need to do differently. And then you need to commit to it. Because if you don't commit to these fabulous new habits, you're just going to keep doing the same old thing and hoping for something different. So get clear on where you want to be and commit to that change and that improvement that's needed. Commit to taking this different path, this exciting path. Feel through that fear and do something differently. And then this one's really important. And I'm kind of giving lots and lots of tips around each habit, you'll notice. But it's really helpful. There's no point in me telling you to change your habits. There's no point in me saying you've got to change those habits to get that easy success that you desire if I don't tell you how to do it, or if I don't give you an inkling of how you can do it. And the third thing is seek help. You know, if you need help in your business, to do things differently, get the help that you need and invest in yourself. And yes, investing can bring up a whole host of other different limiting beliefs and craziness. But until you invest in yourself and invest in your business to do things differently, you'll just keep doing the same old thing. So I want you to look at where you are doing the same old thing and say, hey, I'm ready for something different. And for those women that are over 50, there is no better time than now for doing something different. The other habit that I notice I have noticed in myself, and I know I have done it and I see it in my clients, you know, is that we stay busy. We stay busy for busy sake. Because as long as we're at our desks between 9 and 5, you know, every evening, late into the night, we're busy. We're doing the stuff that matters. But you're not, are you? And I know that for a fact. I was not doing the right things. So please don't be busy for busy sake. And this is much, much easier to change and much, much easier to shift your thinking, your behavior when you know where you are going. So be honest with yourself. Where are you being busy? Social media is a great example of where we can go. I'm just going to have a look at Facebook because I've got a business page and I need to do some posts. And before you know it, all you're doing is looking at cat pictures. You know, it's not good use of your time. So we need to be really clear and honest with ourselves where we are being busy so that we can change that. So there are a couple of things you can do. And the first one could be tough. But I want you to start saying no. Because when you say yes to the client that in your tummy you know isn't right for you, or yes to a piece of work that you think isn't quite aligned, or yes because it's the same old thing and you've always done it, you're saying no to something else. You're saying no to something incredible. So please learn to say no, because it will help you stop being busy for busy sake. Boundaries. I talk a lot with my clients about boundaries. We need to have great boundaries, especially for those of us that are slightly older, because we have lots of responsibilities. Lots of people want our time. Lots of people want us. Well, it's time to get those boundaries in place. And when we think of boundaries, we immediately think of time. Don't just think about time. Think about terms and conditions, how you want to be paid, the kind of clients you want to work with. Get really, really clear on these things. And then step 3, if you like, you really do need to decide on what your boundaries are. Not your boundaries, because we've mentioned those already, but I'm very passionate about boundaries and could talk about those forever. But I wanted to mention priorities. You've got to decide what the priorities are. The priorities should be aligned with where you want to go. And when you're aligned with where you want to go, you will want to give your time to the priorities and you will say no more easily, which will help you to stop being busy for busy sake. So that habit of being busy, I want you to decide no more busy for busy sake. I want you to start using your time in the best way possible. I want you to start using the time that you have available, because none of this, we all have 24 hours in the day, because we don't. Everyone's responsibilities will be different. I'm 56 and I've got 2 children at secondary school. Don't ask. It's a long story. My responsibilities will be completely different to a woman whose children have gone to university, have left university, have got jobs. We all have a different amount of time. So it's really important that we use the time that we have in the best way possible. Now, the third habit is we hide. We hide behind our emails. We hide where it's safe. And I want you to shine brightly because your clients need you. You have a responsibility to get out there and tell the world about the incredible work that you do. Because if you stay hiding behind your laptop, you know, whatever you're using, and I use emails as an example because it's much easier to write an email because then you can send it and forget about it. It's so important that you shine your very, very brightest, because if you don't, your potential clients, customers, patients remain stuck in pain, needing help to be healed. So it's absolutely key that you say enough to being scared, enough to hiding. You are going to get out there and you are going to shine your brightest, which is much easier to do when you know who your ideal client is. So get super clear about who they are. And that's one of the steps, one of the actions you can take. Get super, super clear on who you want to serve, why you want to serve them. The other thing I wanted to mention around this habit of hiding, I want you to be unapologetic about what you want. And if you want the wildest, most successful, easy success, claim it. Say it to the world, say it to the cat, say it to anyone who'll listen. Actually, don't say it to anyone who'll listen, because someone will tell you, oh, are you sure? Really? Is that what you really want? And they're saying it with love in their heart because they want to keep you safe. The same as your ego, or that little voice that says, oh, I don't think you should do that. Actually, it's time to be really unapologetic about what you want for your business and for your life. Particularly for those of us that are, you know, that side of 50, we have not got time for being messing around, for settling for, that would be nice. It would be okay if I earned, oh yes, I'll work with those clients. Because no, you want to make an impact. You want to make a difference. You want to influence change. So decide what that is and claim it unapologetically. And when you do that, I guarantee you will stop hiding. You will stop being busy for busy sake, and you will absolutely start thinking about how you can do things differently, because you'll want to reach more people. You want to make a bigger difference. You want to be the change. So notice your habits. I've talked about 3 and I've talked about them in a negative way, but I hope I've given you some ways of turning them into positives. But get really conscious about what's going on. Be curious all the time, because easy success is a choice and you can make it anytime you like. Wow. I went through that.
Mic drop moment. What can I say, Lindsey Burden? Wow. I mean, you know, I know your story, and for any of you watching who don't know Lindsey's story, then check out her website. Her links will be down below this video, because you will understand a little bit more about where Lindsey's coming from and why it's so important that you know, you really do expand into your dreams and live a life that you love and make the most of every single moment. I think that, Lindsey, there'll be something in what you said for every single person watching. We can all hide. We can all look busy. I mean, I think some people wear it like a badge of honor. But the point is, when we get conscious and really clear about what it is that we want, specifically why we want it, what is this life that we're creating, and we can look and see what's not working. And one of the things I like to do is, I know it's very easy to talk about good habits and bad habits, but sometimes I think that that might not serve some people, because they think if they've got a bad habit that they're bad. So I think that there are habits that are that lead us, you know, in the direction we want to go, and other habits that take us away from that. And I think that's a useful way of looking at it. But basically, if we all just stop doing the things that really don't work, and we're honest with ourselves, then life can look completely different with new choices. So Lindsey, thank you so much.
I just want to pick up that bit about those bad habits. And you're absolutely right. It doesn't make you a bad person. In fact, we call them bad habits because they don't serve us necessarily. They're not bad at all. You just have to recognize them, you have to feel into them, and you have to make a different choice. But Angelie and I talk about this with money. Unless you're a horrible, greedy person in the first place, you know, more money might make you more of those things, but you're not. So don't worry about it. Don't fear anything. It is not that you are a bad person. It's not that you're a bad businesswoman or man. It's just that you've fallen into a habit. And now it's time to change them.
Absolutely. And the thing about habits, Lindsey, is that you cannot change a habit that you already have. That's already, you know, it's a program that's already running. It's all about focusing on a new habit that's going to get you the outcome that you want. And that takes time. And every time we decide we want to do something new, then our brain will go, hang on a minute, I know best.
Yeah.
I'm the one. And the thing about the brain is it's you know, thank goodness it works in the way it does, because otherwise we'd have to learn to walk every single day or learn how to drive the car, you know. It's actually really, really important, but we have to work with the brain. So we have to notice it wants to do what it knows very well. It's an expert, and it doesn't want to change anything. And as long as you know that, and you know that there's going to be some resistance to this new habit, whatever it is, it's going to kick up a fuss for a while. Like if you tell a child that it's got to go to bed earlier, it will kick up a fuss. And it will keep on until such time that it realizes that, you know, this is just the way it is now.
And I think there is a point here to make as well. Be kind to yourself.
Oh.
You're not going to shift in a moment. And actually, what will happen is you'll suddenly go, oh, this has been easy for a while. How did that happen? There's stuff that happens like magic, but we must be kind to ourselves. And there was actually sort of a fourth thing that I had on my list, and that was make yourself the priority. Always, 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 you are the priority. Your business cannot run without you. You are the most important asset to your business. So you are the priority. So we must always be kind to ourselves. We must always put ourselves first and always do what is right for us. So when we're doing this work and reprogramming, you know, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you fall out of that habit, it's okay. You can get back on it. So,
absolutely. We are just human, and we're dealing with a machine. The brain's a machine. You know, it's going to do what it does, and we need to work with it. And as you say, be kind. And when you say about focusing on yourself and being the most important thing, some people might hear that and think, well, that's a bit selfish, isn't it? I need to be caring about other people. But you're not talking about that. You're talking about compassion and being aligned with the values that you have, that have you operate in the way that's important to you and serves.
And actually, if you do not look after yourself, you cannot look after those that you love. If you do not look after yourself, you cannot you cannot serve your clients at the highest level. You cannot serve your business at the highest level. You cannot serve your family, your loved ones, and those that matter. So actually, you are the priority. And a wonderful woman that I worked with years ago, she always used to say, self-care is never selfish, and it's not.
Yeah.
We need to fill up our own cup first. You know, it's like when we're in a plane crash, any example that feels like is a disaster waiting to happen, I don't like mentioning. But what does the woman say after you said the, you know, here in your exits? When the air comes down, you put your mask on first. That's what we're talking about, putting your mask on first.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lindsey. I could talk to you for ever. And we will continue talking after this recording is finished. So all there is for me to say is thank you ever so much for inspiring and, giving your perspective. I really, really appreciate that, as I'm sure those of you that are watching and listening will have appreciated. So please, please check out Lindsey's links, get in touch. My links will be down there as well. And if you have enjoyed this recording, then please subscribe, and why not even share it? So thank you ever so much.
You're welcome.